Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode in Complete Frontend. So, in this lecture, we are going to be learning about strings in JavaScript. Before we start this lecture, if you're new to this channel or if you're already following my content for a while now, if you haven't subscribed, now is the time to subscribe. So, I'm here to share all the knowledge that I have on front-end development on JavaScript, HTML, CSS, performance side, the most in-depth concept that probably you will only get at front-end masters, which costs more than 40,000 per year. And probably I have not seen any other place where you will get even close to what I'm teaching you here right now. So if you are following this channel, you are on the right path to be a full stack or complete front-end developer, because I'm sharing everything I know about the front-end concepts, the most in-depth concepts that nobody is teaching out there in this channel. This is not an advertisement campaign. I mean this when I tell you, if you really follow this channel, if you follow the content of this channel, just give yourself time and you will for sure be able to crack any topic, provided you put in your hard work as well. The content will be more than enough what I teach in this channel. Okay. So if you haven't subscribed, now is the time to subscribe. That's the only thing I'm asking for. I'm not asking you to pay me anything like all the other influencers out there. I'm asking you to subscribe. Okay. So let's get back to the lecture and let's start with our lecture on strings in JavaScript. So how do we write a string, guys? So what is a string and how do we actually write a string? Strings is the way of writing textual content in JavaScript. So if I have to write something like let name, right, is equal to, I'm writing a string over here. So there are three ways of writing strings actually. So what are the three ways of writing strings? Let's take a look at that. So one way is by using the double quotes over here, right? Okay, it's by using the double quotes. The other way would be using the single quotes. So you can just put single quote, write a string over here. And the third way of writing string would be using the backticks. So you can just say backtick like this, Shrikant, and then close it with the backtick. Okay. So there is a reason why there are three ways. I will just explain that in a while right now, but this is how you write strings in JavaScript. In JavaScript, there is no other data structure like a character data structure or whatever. You only have the string data structure, and the string data structure itself is used to represent a character or a complete string as well. Okay. I hope that is clear to you. So now let's get to the code and let's start with actually writing code on strings. So here you go. So strings in JS. Okay. So if you're writing something like let single quote string, let's call it. Okay. I can write something like hello, I am Shrikant. Okay. So I'm writing a single quote string over here. You can just print this just like any other string that you have. So console.log of single quote string. And how do you start this actually? So you have this index.html that I have created earlier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to the previous lectures and first try to understand these concepts. I've explained everything from the scratch in the previous lecture. So understandably, I will not be able to explain those concepts here again. So, but I hope you can just refer back to those lectures. Okay. So you will see in the console over here that hello, I'm Shrikant. I think we have some previous code being printed here as well. So for the sake of not getting distracted by them, let me just comment it out. So now we have the single quoted string. Now let's write a double quoted string. So this is how you would be writing a double quoted string. So here you see it works the exact same way. Now let's write a backtick string. So this is how you would write a backtick string. So in here, this also works in a similar way. So there is not too much difference between these three ways of writing strings, but there is a reason why there are three ways of writing strings and just not one way. So why do you have this backtick, right? So how do you actually write something like hello, I'm Shrikant? Usually we don't write it in this way, right? You would write something like perhaps name is equal to I am, right? I'm Shrikant, something like this. This is a realistic scenario, agreed? So how do you write this here? If it's single quotes, can you write this? No. So if you write single quotes over here, it will look at the string between the opening of the single quote to the next closing single quote. So this is nothing but a closing single quote over here. So this will not work for you. So this is a closing single quote. So the string would only be this part, but that is not what you want, right? You want the whole string. So how do we do that? So we would be using the double quotes over here and then the single quote within that. But what if I want to represent the string with a single quote itself? Then you can write something like I am, okay? So here you would write I, okay, backslash quotation am Shrikant, okay? So what is going to happen over here is this is called as an escape character. So you're saying that don't consider the next character as the string, okay? So this wouldn't break the code per se. So let's try this out in the code right now. So I can write something like const name is equal to, okay? So let's just say name is equal to, let's start with a single quote now. I am Shrikant. You see how it is breaking already? It is considering the rest of the part as the string, right? So I'm closing it over here and it's thinking what the hell is happening over here. So it's not working. So if you put a backslash over here, now you see it's able to understand that this should not be considered as an actual closing string, because it's not a closing string. Indeed, it is nothing but an escape sequence that you need to use. So to avoid all this, so this can happen with the double quotes too, right? If you want to say something like, say in double quotes, how it can happen. Ram said, come to the school tomorrow, okay? Now again, it's not working, you see. So, but you want to put whatever he said in a quotation, right? So this is not working right now. So what would I do here? I would put an escape sequence. I would put an escape sequence here as well. Now you can say something like message, okay? And Ram said, I would come to school tomorrow. Now I can just console log this and you will be able to see exactly how it is, okay? So Ram said, come to school tomorrow. You see the quotations is where you actually want the quotations, but the string is also written by using double quotes, right? So how can we make this simpler? You can just use the backtick. So the backtick, in backtick format, you can write this as message in backtick, okay? You can say backtick, Ram said, come to the school tomorrow, okay? Now, no worries, right? It works exactly the way that you need it to. By the way, always use semicolons to complete the statements that you write. It is not a good, like I said, in JavaScript, it's not mandatory, but it's not a good idea to leave it, because there are certain cases which even I have faced in real life that it would break. It would actually break, okay? And you would actually get a bug and you would keep debugging it for a long time. So here you see it's now working fine, okay? So now let's understand about how can we actually use these in real life. So let's say your mom asked you to get some groceries. So how would you write the list of groceries, okay? So you would say groceries, okay? So groceries, and you want to get vegetables and fruits, okay? So if you want vegetables, you want one, let's say cucumber, then you want something like potato, and 3, you want something like lady's finger, okay? Now there are 3 vegetables that you want to get. Now if I have to print this right now, console.log, let's print this out. This wouldn't be very much formatted, right? So if you see this, it's not very formatted, but what you want is vegetables, then 1, 2, 3, one below the other. How can I do this? Maybe you would be thinking that I can just put it in a new line, right? But that is not going to work with double ticks nor single ticks. That's where your savior backticks comes into picture. That is why nowadays using backticks is a very good idea whenever you want to write strings, because it would give you the flexibility of writing however you want, however the string you want. Okay, so I'm going to write something like this now. So 1 2 3, you want these 3 vegetables, and I want to move this to a new line. Now will it print as I want it to print? Yes, absolutely. It does print the way you want it to print. So there is a lot of space over here. It's considering this space as well. So ideally how I would write it is vegetables, and then I would remove all these spaces over here. I intentionally added the spaces to show you that this is the mistake that you can actually make. Ideally, how you use backticks is you put a backtick in one line, then enclose the content that you want to put within there, and then put the ending backtick in another line. Okay, otherwise you can get the bugs like we just got now. Now you see it's working fine. Okay, so this is how you can use backticks. Backslash to use escape character is something that I already showed you. To use a new line character, you can just use \n. So that will put you into the new line. For example, here, I'm just going back to this example over here. Now you see it's being printed as hello, I'm Shrikant. But if I want to put rest of the things in a new line, I can just put \n. That is a new line sequence that you can use, and it will move rest of the content from there to a new line. Don't use that ideally. You don't need to take the extra hustle to do all those things. Better just use the backticks, and this is very easy. You can just easily understand how you want it to print and just put it over here itself. It's much easier when compared to that. Okay, so that's about how you can print and how you can format your strings. So what if I want to actually just get a character? I don't want a whole string, I just want a character. So something like const z is equal to, you want a character like z over here. Okay, so in JavaScript, like I told you, there is no character variable type. So whenever you say it's the variable is always going to be the same, so it's just going to hold a character. This is nothing but a string with one character inside of it. So there is no other difference than that in JavaScript. In JavaScript, there is no other way to particularly get a different character type or whatever. I'm explaining this and I'm putting stress on this because in other programming languages, you might have come across this. So that is not the case in JavaScript. Okay. Now, how to check the length of a string? Because this is something that you will need a lot when you're checking something. Say you want to check the length of the string. So I'll just check the length of the above z string itself. So I can just say z dot length. Okay, not like this. You might be confused again in other programming languages. This is something that is very common. Okay, but in JavaScript you can just use it like this, z dot length, and you will see it is 1 right now. So what happens if you put z dot length like this? It will just tell you length is not a function because it works like a variable. It is a parameter. It is more like a variable. It could be a getter under the hood. Okay, what is a getter, what is a setter? I'll explain all of that in the future lectures. You don't need to worry about all those things. Just know that this is how you get the length of a variable in JavaScript. So you want to check something like groceries as well now? I bet you do. So let's check that. It's going to say it is 61. How do you calculate it? You need to calculate the strings and the spaces as well. You need to start something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, including spaces. So including there is a space here, right? This is also a character. This is also a character. This is also a character, and so on. That is how JavaScript will read it. Okay. Now, what if I want to say I'm gonna go back to my name example again. So let's just get ourselves the name example again. So const name is equal to Shrikant. Okay. What if I want to get the first character of this? So how do you access the first character? You can say name, then you can open and close the square bracket like this. Okay. And you can put 0 inside of it. I'll tell you exactly what this means, but see what comes up here. Yes comes up. Okay. Now if I put 1, can you guess what will come up? It will be H. I'll explain you why this happens in the tab right now. Okay. So when I say name is equal to Shrikant. Okay. So what is the length of this? This is 1. So right, so here you see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So the length of this string is going to be 9. So if you do name dot length is equal to 9 over here. Okay, this is going to be 9 over here. So how are these strings stored? So this will be stored like a sequence of arrays. So that just means that this will be stored like a sequence. You can think of this like, I'm just telling you this to help you understand under the hood how it might be working for you. Okay, so this is like a box for you. Okay, like imagine it's a file cabinet or a box or whatever. So let's divide this into smaller chunks like this. Okay, and you can imagine this to be SHRIKANTTH. Okay, and this in JavaScript, whenever anything is stored, do you remember we went back to the memory location lecture in the fundamentals and the variables lecture as well? We started something like 0 into 01 into 0001, right? So I'm taking this as the 0th row. Do you remember I told this is the 0th row? Wherever you see, you will see that I have referred it to as the 0th row, right? Not the first row. I didn't start telling you that this is the first row. Just check, I'm just showing you the previous lectures over here, and see here also I have told that it is 0 into 0001, not 1 into 0001 or anything. Okay, so in any programming language, whenever you take an array or any storage, you will start with the index of 0, and this will be index what? 1, this will be index 2, this will be index 3, this will be index 4, this will be index 5, index 6, index 7 and index 8. Okay, so there is no 9, but the length, the count of the length starts with 1. Okay, so this will be 1 2 3, so total number of characters will be 9, but when it is stored, to access it, this will be stored like this with the 0th character. So now let's get back with that understanding how to access characters. I bet you are a smart guy, right? So you'll be able to already know what I mean by this. So if you just say name over here, and if I say name of 9, what are you gonna get? Obviously undefined, because it is not defined. Like I told, the maximum you go up to is 8, right? See, you go up to is 8, max you go up to is 8 over here. So name of 8 will be H here. This is how you access individual characters in a string. Got it? But I don't want to count all the way, I just want to count the last one. You can do something like -1 characters as well. So I'll tell you how you can use that. So there is one more method that you can call on the string, that is called name.at position of 8, I will say. Okay, position of 8 I will say. It is going to give you the same H over here, Shrikant H. Okay, this one, this is the guy that got picked up over there. But what if I put -1 over here? It's gonna be the same again. So this guy is again -1. If I go to -3, you will understand what I mean by that. It is giving n, right? There is only one n over here, so it is this. So now let's understand that also. So the negative the count starts from the opposite side. So that will be -1. It's not going to be 0 again here. It's going to be -1, -2, -3. So that is why you got n over here. And similarly, it will go negatives as well. Now, the thing is, when accessing a variable, you can only use, say, name of 0 to 9 you can use over here. Okay, so only one at a time, of course. So you can put only like 0, name of 1, name of 2, etc. But to accept this negative ones, right, you have to use the at method. So you can just say variable name, that is name over here, dot -1, that is open close, and call the -1 or 2. So essentially the API is nothing but variable name, okay, dot at, and then you can call the position over here. Okay, so +1 +2, you can use positive or negative. You can do name of 0 is equal to name dot at of 0. It's the exact same thing. Here you use the square brackets to access the memory from anywhere, but here it's going to be the what do you say, the rounded brackets. Okay, that is how you use the access the memory locations of a variable. Is that clear to you? I hope that is clear to you. Now let's go to the property of strings that is called as immutability. I think I already briefly touched about this in one of the previous lectures. So if I just say const my name is gonna be Shrikant, I'm just gonna write this in capital so that it is very clear to you, all the characters. I hope you can see clearly. So Shrikant over here, I'll just probably also increase the size so that it will be easier for you to read over here. Now you can just say console.log, okay, my name, I want to change one character, let's say, okay, I want to make Shrikant as some other character, okay. So if I say 0, you're gonna get my name of 0 and my name is not defined. Oh, my bad. I put small letter over here, right? Sorry, my bad. Now you will see S over here. Now I want to change this. So how can I do it? I can say my name is my name of 0. Let's change that character. Okay, let's make it K or whatever. Okay, so I want to put K over here. Can I do that? Instead of SHRI, it will be KHRI. Now it is not gonna work, and it's not even gonna give you an error. It's just gonna say not gonna be possible. So if you just print this again over here, so I'm just printing my name again, you will see that it is still Shrikant itself and not KHRI. Okay, the reason is strings are immutable. Mutability means ability to change. If you watched X-Men, you will know there is a concept of mutation there. Mutation means mutants. If you have watched X-Men movie, you will know that there is a concept of mutants. If you have not watched, don't worry. Mutation is nothing but changing from one form to other. So here strings are immutable. That means they will never change. Once you have defined them, they will never change. So how do you change something new? Let's take a much simpler example for that. So I'm just gonna say you want to make let's say const greeting. Okay, let's say greeting is equal to hi. I want to make this, for example, some other thing. Okay, I want to make HAI. Let's say I want to make this as HAI. How will you do it? The way to do it would be create a new variable called as new greeting if you want to, or you can also do it this way, by the way. Make this a let over here. Then you can say greeting. That means we are going to overwrite what we assigned to it before. Greeting is equal to greeting first character, greetings first character plus you want AI now. Okay, that is not the AI that you are thinking of. So now you can print the new greeting over here. Greeting would be console.log of greeting. Okay, let's just check what you see now. You see initially it was hi that we declared over here, then I changed it and now it is HAI, hi. Okay, I hope this helps you understand the concept of immutability in strings in JavaScript. Let's get into more concepts of strings in the next lecture. Until then, stay tuned and subscribe to Complete Frontend.